What is up, Sopranos fans? Kino here. I'm back with another Soprano log. This time we're doing Season 2, Episode 6, The Happy Wanderer. So this episode opens, they're at Meadows School. They're hearing from colleges and about how hard it is to get into them. The kids really need extracurricular activity. So Meadow is doing a choir event with her friend Eric Scatino. Now Eric's dad, Davey, is a childhood friend of Tony's as well. So they grew up together, and we learn that Davey is a gambling man. He hears that Tony is now running the executive game. It's this high-stakes poker game that his father and Junior used to run. But now that Junior is under house arrest, Tony has taken it over. So Tony refuses. He doesn't want to get Davey involved because this is a serious game. And so Davey goes and gambles with Richie instead. And he ends up about $8,000 into debt with Richie, which he's not really able to pay back. His finances are not super good. He owns a sporting store, but he's still not able to pay Richie, and Richie's getting a little upset at him. So Tony meets with Junior to discuss the game. We learn that Junior has another brother besides Tony's dad. His name was Ercole. He was born, either retarded or mentally deficient, whatever you want to call it. And so he had to go stay in a special institution who could take care of him. So they host the executive game actually at the hotel that they got from the Jews when Tony solved that guy's problem with his son-in-law. So now they get to use the business for whatever they want. They're hosting the game there. Tony has Christopher and his two friends, Matt and Sean, helping him out there. And he has some very high-level players. So we've got Johnny Sack. We've got Ira Freed, who is a penis doctor, apparently. I didn't know that was a thing. But he's very wealthy, so he plays there. Frank Sinatra Jr. is actually one of the players. Apparently he knows Junior, and that's the real Frank Sinatra Jr. And then, of course, we have like Paulie and Silvio. And we get to learn an interesting detail about Silvio is that he gets very angry when he gambles, and he freaks out when something goes wrong. It's a nice little detail to add to Silvio because he's we don't know a lot about him. He's not that active in the story and plot. He's kind of more of a quiet side character for these beginning seasons. And it's nice that we get like a interesting character trait for him. It really adds life to the character. So Davey comes by the hotel and he manages to convince Tony to let him into the game. Originally, he only has, $5,000 credit. But when Tony is sleeping, because the game goes all night long, Davey actually gets into about $45,000 worth of debt, which he absolutely cannot pay back. And Tony's really mad at him for doing that, and warns him that this is serious and he actually has to pay. It's not a game. Richie comes by and sees that Davey is there as well. And this really angers him because he already owes Richie money, and here he is getting into even more debt. He starts a physical altercation. Tony shuts it down, but it effectively just ends the game. And Tony yells at Richie for doing that and for disrupting the poker game. He eventually taxes Richie by saying that Davey has to pay Tony back first instead of Richie. So Tony gets his money before Richie gets his. And then Janice kind of plays this up as more reason for resentment between Richie and Tony. We could really start to see some problems boil up between the two of them. So Tony goes to collect the money that Davey owes him. Davey says he's tapped out, and Tony, just slaps the shit out of him and, warns him that tomorrow he better have money or else. So Davey's at the end of his line. He has no money to give, and he ends up selling his son's car to Tony. And Tony tries to give it to Meadow, but she realizes it's her friend's car and gets really upset by this. But Tony refuses to give it back, saying that, this is how he makes a living and it's not his fault. It's the dad's fault. And we'll explore that more next episode. He'll talk more about why he did this. But it drives a rift between Meadow and Eric. They were supposed to do this choir event together. It's an extracurricular activity for them to get into a better college. But Eric doesn't want anything to do with Meadow or her family after this. He's really upset about losing his car. And then Meadow ends up doing the song solo, which is actually what she wanted the whole time. So it actually worked out in her favor in this case. So a really interesting episode. We'll see more of Davey later on as they run a bust out on his store. But yeah, great episode, and can't wait for the next Soprano log coming soon.